Catherine stood on the train platform in Silver Ridge, Colorado, watching the younger woman disappear into the crowd with the merchant who had sent for her. At 38, she had made the journey from Philadelphia with hope flickering in her chest, only to have it extinguished by 5 brutal words. "You're too old for me." The merchant had taken one look at her graying temples and the fine lines around her eyes, then turned to the matchmaker with disgust. "I ordered a wife, not a grandmother. Send her back." He had chosen the 22-year-old girl who had traveled in the same rail car instead, leaving Catherine stranded in a town where she knew no one. With barely enough money for a return ticket she was too proud to use, she sat on a bench outside the station, her hands folded in her lap, trying to decide what to do next. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the dusty street. She had left nothing behind in Philadelphia except a boarding house room and memories of a husband dead 5 years, a teaching position lost to younger candidates, and a sister who had made it clear there was no room in her home for a spinster. Coming west had been her last desperate attempt at a fresh start. Now even that door had slammed shut. "Excuse me, ma'am?" The voice was deep and gentle. Catherine looked up to find a tall man in his mid-40s, with silver threading through dark hair and eyes that held a lifetime of weather and work. He held his hat in work-roughened hands. "I couldn't help but overhear what happened. That merchant's a fool, if you don't mind me saying." Heat flooded her cheeks, humiliation making her want to disappear. "I appreciate the kindness, but I'll manage." "I'm sure you will," he said, then hesitated. "My name's Daniel Hayes. I run a cattle ranch about 10 miles north. Lost my wife to fever 3 winters ago, and the loneliness has been eating at me ever since."
Ice.
He shifted his weight, clearly uncomfortable. "I came to town today thinking about placing an advertisement for a wife, but I kept talking myself out of it. Seemed foolish at my age." He met her eyes directly. "Then I saw you sitting here, and I thought maybe fate was trying to tell me something." Catherine's throat tightened. "You don't even know me, and I'm not young. I'm not beautiful. I'm just a woman who made a mistake thinking anyone would want her." Daniel sat down beside her, careful to leave respectful space between them. "I'm 43 years old, ma'am. I've got a bum knee from a riding accident, gray hair, and I snore something awful according to my ranch hands. I'm not looking for a young girl who'll giggle and call me handsome. I'm looking for a woman who understands what life is, who's lived enough to know that comfort and companionship matter more than smooth skin." He turned his hat in his hands. "I'm looking for someone real." "Why would you take a chance on me?" Catherine whispered. "A complete stranger. Because I saw how you held your head up when that man rejected you. You didn't cry or beg. You just sat down and started thinking about what comes next. That's strength, ma'am. That's exactly the kind of woman who could build a life with a stubborn rancher like me." He smiled, and it transformed his weathered face. "I'm not asking you to marry me this minute. Come to the ranch. Meet my housekeeper, Mrs. Chen. She'll tell you if I'm a decent man or not. Stay a week, a month. See if you can tolerate my cooking and my company. If you can't, I'll pay your fare wherever you want to go. But if you can," he paused, "then just be mine. Be my wife, my partner. Help me turn that lonely house back into a home." Catherine looked at this unexpected man offering her something no one else had in years, a genuine choice, respect, and the possibility of belonging. She thought of the empty boarding house room, the pitying looks from her sister, the endless rejections. Then she thought of his honest eyes and the way he had called her strong. "1 week," she said finally, "to see if we suit each other." Daniel's smile widened. 1 week to start. The rest of our lives, if we're lucky? He stood and offered his hand, not to help her up, but to shake on their agreement as equals. Catherine took it, feeling the calluses and strength there. And for the first time in years, she felt something bloom inside her chest that felt remarkably like hope.